experienced moments when stress at work leaves you feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, and maybe cynical? If so, chances are you might be suffering from employee burnout, which can affect your physical, mental, and emotional health.
To help us figure out what to look for and how to overcome burnout is Life Coach Jennifer Longmore. Welcome, Jennifer.
Jennifer, let's start with the basics. So what is employee burnout and what are the signs and symptoms we should be looking out for?
That's a great question. We have a misunderstanding of burnout. Burnout isn't something that happens when we're working, 2 weeks really hard at a job and then we get a break. It's something that happens over a period of time, or maybe after 6 months and we've been burning the candle, eventually the candle goes out and that's when we burn out. So the ways to recognize that would be maybe you're noticing that you're a little more irritable with the people around you. You might even be challenging your boss a little bit more. You're having a hard time waking up, either because you're not sleeping or because you're having what I call Monday morning dread. We all have that, right? Where we live for the weekends and Monday morning comes and we think, oh, I have to get up and do this. And we also have mental fog, which makes it really hard to focus on the work that we're here to do.
So now that we know what burnout is, because you've defined it, how common is it, Jennifer?
Surprisingly, it's very common. 1 out of every 4 Canadians actually quits their job because they're burnt out. Yes. So that could be having some tension with their boss, being unappreciated, never getting feedback. I know a lot of people that never get feedback about their job, and if you don't know where you stand, it's hard to keep performing and giving it your all. So there's an unrealistic expectations. All of that stuff leads to people eventually saying, you know what, I'm gonna go find greener pastures where I can be appreciated and enjoy my job.
Yeah. Appreciate, Hey, Jennifer, how does burnout affect the quality of your work?
Oh my goodness, that's such a great question. When we are unfocused and we're unmotivated, we tend to make more mistakes. We tend to be less productive. We might even get a little less interested in getting along with others. We might be afraid for our own job safety, and so maybe we're directing attention to other employees and maybe hoping the manager will look at other people instead of us when we're not doing as well. We're probably going to be showing up late, which also puts our job at risk if we're doing that all of the time. And these are folks, by the way, that really love their job. They want to do well. But over time, it's hard to get excited about a job when you're feeling overworked and underappreciated.
What's the impact of burnout on your home life?
It's a great question. That translates right over into our home life. So if we're irritable at work, we're going to be irritable at home. And if we live with other people, they are definitely going to be feeling that, and they're probably going to be pushing back on that. And before you know it, the house is very tense. Additionally, we're probably less interested in contributing because we just don't have the energy. We can see the laundry piling up, we can see the dust bunnies floating around that need to be swept up, and we just can't bring ourselves to do that. And also, we're turning down the very things that probably will serve us, like going out socially or getting involved in the activities that light us up and make us feel better, because we just don't feel motivated anymore.
You often hear people say, I'm totally burned out, but I wonder how many of these complaints are legitimate.
Yeah, we hear that a lot, right? People will throw that around. Usually people that throw around I'm burnt out are folks that never liked their job to begin with. So for folks that actually have burnout, they often won't even know that they're burnt out. These are folks that love their job. They just want to do well. They've maybe been trained for it, or they're just so excited they have this job. And then all of a sudden, things start to go downhill from there.
So when it comes to combating this, you say a healthy mindset is important. Explain.
Mindset is something I talk a lot about with my clients. And the great news about mindset is that we all have control over our thoughts. We have control about what we put into our brain and how we think. So it's our job to manage our mindset. We may not have control over our boss, maybe not being so nice, or colleagues doing, certain things, or having a little extra pressure at work, but we can control our mind. So I like to encourage my clients to avoid technology first thing in the morning and at night, because we need to pull ourselves away from all the things that stimulate us. Yeah. That's very stimulating. So we need to detach from that. And then additionally, limit our social media. I know it's very addictive, and we've talked a little bit about that today on the show, right? We want to be in this culture of always being in the know. The reality is, on social media, we're getting the highlight reel. And then we go into comparisonitis, and then we say, well, how come this person's life's so great and this person's life's so great? My life doesn't feel so great. And we actually feel even worse about ourselves. So the other thing we want to do is build in support. We have to either rely on friends or family or mentors. And even at work, if something happens where you're getting feedback that isn't making you feel good, or maybe you've had some conflict, or maybe you're just at your wit's end and you're ready to pack it in, if you can have pictures around your desk of your pets or your family and loved ones, or vacations you've been on, or activities you love, that's going to serve as a reminder that A, you are more than your job. That's not who you are. It's just a role you play, and that there is life outside of what you're doing in that moment.
I love that so much.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. I think we've also seen co-workers who maybe throw themselves into a project. They don't take breaks. They even worse, maybe don't take a vacation just to reach a deadline and complete that project. And they probably think that they're being super efficient and they're really pleased with themselves. But you suggest that it could also have a reverse effect. It couldn't be beneficial maybe.
Absolutely. We're actually less effective when we don't have breaks because we can't serve from an empty cup.
Yeah.
So if we're never taking a break to give ourselves space and give ourselves a change in scenery and perspective, we're going to feel even more depleted. And I understand because we can feel unsafe taking time off. What if we get thrown under the bus when I come back and I have no job because my coworkers have thrown me under the bus? Or maybe it's easier if I just do this on my own, or I'm only going to come back to a bigger mountain of work. So it's probably easier for me to not take a break when the reality is that's the one thing that's going to fill our cup.
So we've been focusing a lot on what we do if we're experiencing burnout. But what about the employer? What is the workplace's responsibility to pay attention to certain signs? What can they do? If you're a manager, if you are a vice president, a president, what can you do?
Managers need to ask, am I assigning too much? Am I expecting too much? Am I assigning the right work to the wrong people? Meaning, are they in the actual fit? And are our expectations too high? And if they answer yes to any of that, then it's on them to recalibrate that.
So exactly what then does a healthy corporate culture look like? Kind of paint the picture for us, Jen.
Yeah, so an unhealthy corporate culture will be one that really encourages competition, encourages you to outwork your colleagues, and you're less of a hero if you're not responding to your texts and your emails, and oh, you took vacation this weekend, or you're actually taking the weekend, and there's an element of being made wrong for that. Great companies that have low burnout or no burnout and have really high engagement and productivity are the ones that encourage their employees to continue their learning, to take their extended health benefits, take vacations, and to really make the most out of their career and take advantage of wellness programs. Innovative companies will bring in wellness programs where they have in-house yoga or in-house massage or things that actually fill people's cups. And when people feel appreciated by their company and they don't feel like a number, they just tend to perform better anyways.
Jennifer, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you've really given us all a lot to think about today. For more information, just head over to thesocial.ca. We'll be right back after the break.